basically, for those of you that go out to open jams, you kind of know how it goes. It can be a great experience or it can be an absolute disaster. And last night, it was more towards the disaster side. What I did was I saved some presets in the Boss ME90, and I'll show you guys exactly how I did that. But I saved some presets because I've only got one guitar with me here in the Dominican Republic right now, and it was an acoustic open mic. So I've got my electric Les Paul, the Epiphone Les Paul, and I wanted it to sound like an acoustic guitar. So I saved some presets with the Comp FX 1, where you can actually put the acoustic simulator on, and then I just kind of did some sounds knowing that I'd show up and I'd plug into the PA system and, be as acoustic as possible. Anyhow, I'll play you guys the full clip, because why the hell not? I mean, I'm not planning or pretending on having this channel be like a super polished edited thing where I only publish the stuff where I don't make mistakes or it sounds great. I want it to be real and raw. So that's just how I am, and that's how it is. So you guys can see the whole set. It's not a long set, it's just a couple tunes. I sat up there with an electric mandolin player, which was cool. I'd never met him before, as it goes in most jams. And of course, we're on the beach in the sand, so my gear is getting all sandy, which was annoying as all hell. I didn't even think about that. I'll have to bring a towel or something next time to put down. But this mandolin player basically treated the jam. He sat up there, I think, with one of those small Yamaha amps that are kind of cool, treating it as a jam track to play over the whole night. So everybody that was going up playing tunes or whatever were all basically just a backing jam track for this guy to play all over. And it's not that he was bad, it's just that that's pretty annoying. You want to be in a musical situation where people are listening and contributing and not just using you as a jam track. So that was annoying, number one. Number two, the other thing that was a part of that was incredibly annoying was that I actually had a monitor, which is fantastic. In most jams, they don't have a monitor. But he was blaring through the monitor. I had no control over the levels or anything, and all I could hear was this piercing sound of this incredibly loud electric mandolin in my face and in my ear. I couldn't hear my vocals, I couldn't hear the guitar, so that was another issue. The other thing is, you'll see, is the damn PA is an old piece of crap system, and it kept cutting out, like literally just stopping in between songs, and then at the end it just died completely. So that was a lot of fun. Levels were shit in terms of vocals and guitar. When I first plugged in, another thing that I noticed, this is more regarding the Boss ME90 and using that as something to plug in direct, which is the first time I've ever tried that, was I plugged in through the input, obviously, and I plugged out through the send and went from the send into the regular input of the PA, which sounded pretty good, actually, when it was switched over to line level. But I noticed that I then didn't have any control over the volume pedal. The volume pedal did nothing. So that was kind of annoying, as I like to ride the volume pedal usually to have control over what's going on with the output. I'm usually very cognizant of levels. So I then switched it over to the regular output, I quickly experimented. As you get up on stage, as you know, you don't have much time, so I flicked the switch over to guitar out, line out, that switch there, and I left it on line out and left the preset sounds as they were. I'll show you the sounds that I used, how I saved the presets, and I'll even try to record a couple examples straight really quickly so you can hear what the sounds sound like direct into just a recording device, into my Zoom. And then you can hear what it sounds like in the context of a crappy PA system, that the bass is boosted way too loud and the volumes are way too low overall. And you can get an idea of what it was like. It was not a fun experience, we'll put it that way. So what did I learn? I learned that I really need to dig into the Boss ME90 and figure out how I should use the output so that I can have control still over the volume pedal. There's got to be a way of doing that. I think I read somewhere that the placement in the effects chain of the volume pedal changes depending on how you use the outputs. So I'll have to look into that more. Anyway, let's dig right into it. Let's see what happened. But before we do that, let's get into setting the presets, and then we'll get into clips from the show or the jam last night. Here we are in manual mode. As you can see, that blue light indicates you're in manual mode. You can do whatever you want. As you turn the knobs, that's how things are affected. So if I wanted to create that first preset, I went here, I pressed user, number one. You don't want to be in the presets, you want to be in the user banks, right? So you bank up and down using these two buttons. So you go to U1 and you press 1, and that's going to be the preset of whatever they put in for the user bank, some crappy sound as it usually is, but that's fine. Press edit, and then once you can do that, you can do whatever you want within the preset. Like I said, turn the knobs. I just put it on the acoustic simulation and then turn the reverb how I like the sound of it. Once I like the sound, I pressed right, okay, which I'm not going to do now because it's going to screw it up. But all you do is press right. You know what? I'll do it now. It's fine. You press right, and then you press right again. Once you think, oh, I want it here, wherever you want it saved, it's flashing, I want it in one. So you press right again, flashes a couple times quickly, and that's it, it's saved. So you do the same thing with preset number 2, anything you want. You can start with the number 1 as a bass. So generally I like to have a bass clean sound, maybe something with a little bit of delay, a solo version of that, so something boosted, and the same goes for electric too, and then maybe an alternate sound here, or something that I know I'm using for a particular song. All right, here we are outside. I've got my Epiphone 59 limited edition Les Paul. I've got the Boss ME90, and I'm going direct into the Zoom recorder. Now, what I found out is if I go to the send, it bypasses everything. So definitely don't do that. Go through the guitar out, and I think when you switch it over to line, it makes a big difference. Now, let's check out the sound as it's flick the switch over to guitar. I'll just play an E chord. All right, so there it is. And I'm gonna flick it over to line out, and you'll see the difference in tone. Is there a difference? I don't know, because I'm not actually using a preamp. I did before use the preamp, but I am not now. I found that I didn't know how it would affect the sound overall, and generally you don't play acoustic through an amp. So to play it through an amp simulator sounded kind of weird, and it affected the tone. So I just went direct, basically. I just used the Comp FX 1 and turned that to the amp, or not the amp, but the acoustic guitar simulation, and twiddled the knobs a little bit and found a sound that I thought was decent. I'll show you guys exactly how it's set up. And this is what it sounds like, E. Now if I turn that off, okay, and I just go direct, this is the direct guitar sound. So back into the acoustic simulator. I find it not bad, okay? Not bad for an acoustic simulation. Now that's just the acoustic simulation and a little bit of reverb, some hall reverb. Now on the preset number 2, all I did was add a little bit of a delay, bit of a slapback, in case I wanted to do any. All right, anything like that. I had a little bit of slapback. Same level, same everything. On preset number 3, how I had it set up was that this is sort of the solo sound. So I added the boost in the overdrive distortion block. Now I didn't add it in the EQ, because in the EQ, you can only set it to sort of 3 preset types of EQ boosts, and you can boost or mess with the treble and middle, and then the level. But I found that it made it sound too boxy sounding and not wasn't as natural. So I used the EQ, or sorry, the boost in the overdrive section instead, and that was a little bit more natural. It's still a little bit mid-heavy, but so you'll notice a bit of a jump, and I'll go back to 2. Do that with the boost now. All right, and then for number 4, I went for something completely different. I thought, you know what, why don't I do, while I'm still in the acoustic simulation, a bit of an organ kind of sound, sort of like a B3 in case I'm doing a blues. cool, a little bit different. I left a bit of a delay. I put a bit of a warm analog delay on that, and that's it. I left the acoustic sound as it is and the hall reverb as that is, and those are the 4 sounds that I used during the jam. Now you can go over to the jam and see exactly what that sounded like in a context where I could not control the EQ or quality of the PA or the speakers. It was not great, like I said, a bit of a disaster, but hey, you live and you learn. Let's check it out. Before we jump right into this video, I thought it might be good to be able to compare an actual acoustic guitar plugged in. So I recorded a few minutes of this guy playing real quick so you can hear the sound of the guitar, different setup, but at least it gives you some context to compare it against. Hey, where'd the sound go? Well, the PA crapped out. That's what happened. It cut out and cut in a couple times. And that's basically it. Both crappy PA on the beach. Things you can't control. and by the way, if you dig the hat or any of the other kind of cool guitar shirts and hats I wear in the other videos, there's a link below in the description. You can buy them from there. I designed these myself. They're just kind of fun, and it's a great way to support me in the channel, or not. Thank you. What happened in this moment is I pressed the bank button thinking I was pressing in manual mode the preamp on, because I knew I had to get some volume out of this thing to compete against that extremely loud and annoying electric mandolin that is just blaring in my face from that monitor right in front. Instead, it went to the presets and started going off into some weird shit, which is why I typically don't use presets. I'm usually in manual mode, but you know, I guess I gotta get used to it. Anyway, that's what was happening there. I battled that, figured it out, got back to the regular, and kind of started the song again. get at a live jam, and this was certainly no exception.
Silence! Alright, there you go. Fade out.
Quick conclusion, I think the sound is decent as long as you have a decent PA that you're running through and you can control it and EQ it. And I think if it was for like a solo show, it would work out. It would have a decent acoustic sort of sound to it, as long as you have more control over it, which I did not have. In the context of a jam or a band or anything like that, it's too much of a mess, too much going on. But, you know, I think it could be dialed in for a solo show. That's pretty much it. ME90 acoustic sounds live and how to set up the presets. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you on the next video. I got a bunch of these, so check them out.